This was, without a doubt, the most difficult assignment ever given to two women. In the 1950s, many things were evolving and changing. In the brief documentary, we will go through 12 different categories of the 1950s. Politics, culture, significant people, counterculture, economics, science, mathematics, sports, literature, women and minorities, civil rights movement, and the Cold War.
The CIA is a Central Intelligence Agency formed in 1947. The CIA collects intel. The Central Intelligence Agency headquarters are located in Langley, Virginia. The CIA carries out and oversees covert activities and tactical operations. The CIA's motto is, "The work of the nation, the center of intelligence." Category, Cold War. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, created in 1947 by the United States, Canada, and Western European nations to provide security against the Soviet Union, the first peacetime military alliance the United States entered. Concerned about physical and political security, the United States has become more involved with European affairs. NATO is in order to forge alliances. Category, Cold War.
Pop art, a style of art in the 1950s to appeal popular taste. Art that reflected what the majority of society wants. Category, Popular Culture. Born in 1921, Betty Friedan was an American feminist and writer. Her book, The Feminine Mystique, explored the frustrations of women with their domestic lives in the 1950s and the 1960s. Category, Literature.
C.S. Lewis is the author of the 7-book Narnia series. He published book 1 of 7, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, on October 16, 1950. Category, Literature. In September of 1950, the Z4 machine was created to the ETH Zurich for the 5 years. The Z4 machine is a relay-based machine. The first successful electronic commercial computer. Due to its large size, not many were produced. In floor space, the large computer took up 3,100 square feet. Category, Science.
Malcolm X, a supporter of the Nation of Islam and black leader, he spoke to support blacks from segregation, black pride, and the use of violence to self-protect. Category, Civil Rights Movement.
Born in 1923, Rocky Marciano was a professional boxer and world heavyweight champion. From September 23, 1952, until April 27, 1956, he was the only boxer to hold the heavyweight championship for his entire career. Category, Sports. In 1952, the first time television could view. In between 1949 and 1960, U.S. households containing TVs grew from about 1 million to about 44 million. Popular TV shows at this time were I Love Lucy, The Twilight Zone, The Little Rascals, and many more. Category, Popular Culture. The hydrogen bomb is a nuclear weapon that gets its power from fusing hydrogen atoms. On January 31, 1950, Truman announced the development of the hydrogen bomb. The hydrogen bomb is said to be 100 times more powerful than the atomic bomb. Category, Mathematics. Eisenhower was the 34th president. Eisenhower was in office starting on January 20th, 1953. Eisenhower was a 5-star general in World War II and served as the supreme commander of the Allied forces. He ran against Adlai Stevenson, who was the former governor of Illinois. Category, Significant People.
Soviet leader Joseph Stalin died on March 5, 1953. Malenkov took Joseph Stalin's place as Russia's leader. Category, Significant People.
Dr. Jonas Salk announced the polio vaccination on March 26, 1953. The announcement was made over the radio nationwide. It stated that there was a successful test of the vaccine for the crippling disease. Category, Science.
Born in 1919, Jackie Robinson, the famous baseball player, number 42, was the first black man to play with white men in Major League Baseball. Category, Sports.
Born in 1929, Martin Luther King Jr. was a civil rights leader. He gave a familiar speech to many, stating that he had a dream to have blacks and whites equal. On May 17, 1954, the court ruled separate but equal was unconstitutional. Category: Civil Rights Movement.
Rosa Parks was a civil rights activist, arrested in 1955 after refusing to give her seat on a public bus to a white man. Her arrest led to a widespread boycott, which was important in the civil rights movement. Category: Women and Minorities.
Elvis Presley was a sergeant in the U.S. Army during World War II. His first song was released in 1956 by the name of Heartbreak Hotel. He won 3 Grammys and the Grammy of a Lifetime Achievement Award. He was the king of rock and roll. Category: Popular Culture.
Interstate and Highway System is a network controlled of access highways that forms part of the National Highway System. The system named for President Eisenhower, who campaigned its formation. The construction was authorized in 1956. Category: Politics. Sputnik was the first man-made Soviet satellite to orbit the Earth. Launched October 4, 1957, took 98 minutes to orbit the Earth. Marked the start of the space age. U.S. responded beginning work on the Explorer project. Category: Mathematics.
July 19, 1956, the United States withdrew offers to finance construction of Aswan Dam in Egypt, precipitating Egyptian seizure of Suez Canal. Category: Economics. The free speech movement was a counterculture movement into the 1960s. It gave people the right to say what they feel without getting into trouble. Category: Free speech movement.
Flower children, also known as hippies, wanted peace among all people. The start of their upbringing led to the Summer of Love in 1967. Category: Counterculture. Vista is a domestic version of the Peace Corps that provided aid to poor communities in the United States starting in the 1960s. Category: Economics.
During Eisenhower's in-office term, he used nuclear threats to conclude the Korean War with China. Eisenhower's term ended in 1961. Category: Significant people.
Massive retaliation is a military doctrine and nuclear strategy in which a state commits itself to retaliate. Category: Politics.
In 1961, John F. Kennedy took Eisenhower's place in office, becoming the 35th president. Kennedy was later assassinated in 1963. Category: Significant people.
A housewife in the 1950s was a married woman who manages her own household, especially as her principal occupation. A stereotypical woman, a housemaker who takes care of the children, her husband, the cleaning and cooking, with a smile on her face. Category: Women and Minorities.
In the 1950s, women, children, and men had a specific look that they trended. The men normally wore suits with top hats. Women typically wore dresses and aprons with heels. Children wore overalls and dresses. Thank you for watching our brief documentary for our American history classes. Katie King, who is in Mr. Mitchell's 7th hour class, and Kimberly Dungan, who is in Mr. Seiferd's 1st hour class, enjoyed this project. We hope you did too.